how to write a life plan and a business plan. One of the things you see with certain careers, namely law, that people will go to law school, pass the bar, and then they get into law, they don't like it. They're like, ugh, I'm going to do something else. I'm going to parlay this law degree into something else. These people never had a life plan. And, it is a very important part of planning your business. I've always said that you should ask yourself this question: what type of life do I want to live? Where do I want to live? Do I want to get married? Do I want to have kids? These are questions you need to ask yourself before these events happen. You need to really delve deep into it because one of the things I see, and I'm making an assumption here, that more people care about fun, the here and now, than planning for the future. Because if you want to have a life of design and intent, you're not going to create a career or a business that doesn't make you happy. You're not going to end up starting a business and bailing. This is another thing. And this is a big thing that's going on with venture capital businesses, people who raise funding. They're not trying to create a business to solve problems. They're trying to create businesses to be acquired. We just got our Series A round of funding. We just got some more funding. These businesses want to be acquired by one of the Fortune 2000 companies. You read about them, you hear about their fast growth. Both Uber and Lyft, after their IPO, are losing money. Now, this is the way that I was brought up, that you should be profitable. You should aim for profit as soon as possible. And I remember having this conversation with a few Yardbirds. And it was about Amazon FBA. And I was just saying these low margins, these single margin business models are inherently dangerous because if something bad happens, you don't have enough wherewithal to make things right. And a lot of these people they built up these huge Amazon businesses to 7, 8, 9, 10 million a year, but they were pulling no money out of the business because the business wasn't really profitable. It made enough to pay employees and keep the lights on and keep going, but it wasn't truly a profitable business. And they kept making, this one guy, he did this Reddit post talking about his finances, and he drives a Honda and he's got a $7 million a year business. Let me tell you something. When my business crossed 1 million, I was living a nice life. I wasn't driving the Honda. I was driving the BMW. I wasn't living in a shack. I was living in a nice house. Part of the deal between writing your life plan and your business plan is asking yourself what kind of life you want, because you hear all of these things about, the next Uber, the next Apple, and those companies are super, super rare. There's a reason there's only 2,000 of them. They're hard to build. I mean, you could right now start a $1 to $5 million per year business and live a great lifestyle, an awesome lifestyle. Kids go to private school, you live in a nice neighborhood, you drive what you want to drive, you save money, you got money, you could live 1 to 5 million. But I see people who like I'm gonna be a billionaire. Becoming a billionaire is not a force of will. It's happenstance. When all of the stars line up, because you've got to be positioned correctly to become a billionaire. Not the case with becoming a millionaire. A millionaire is more doable because there's more things you control. But to get to billions and billions of billions and billions of dollars, your stuff's got to line up just correct. You gotta be situated. You gotta be doing an emerging business. You have to, it's kind of funny. Janet Jackson's ex-husband was born a billionaire. And when they got divorced, and this is about positioning, when they got divorced, her divorce settlement was more money than she made in 30 something years of performing and doing concerts. Her divorce settlement. I thought that was ironic. And this is just the power of positioning. One of the things you have to do. Runs, real talk, a business that you love that serves people requires deliberate intent. Absolutely. Dunamis. In computer science, we're told all the time to build our dreams. That's why many struggle with funding. We want to make tech that solves problems. Investors just want to sell it. Tyler Perry got into intellectual property. Intellectual property is you. I mean, Tyler Perry's still getting paid for movies and stuff he did years ago. That's the beauty of intellectual property. Back to Dynamis, you got to build tech that you can organically fund. Because one of the things, like you see all this stuff with Wall Street and these eye popping numbers, the Silicon Valley, and people like, hey, we're our first round of funding, we got $4 million. Do you understand that many of these companies on Wall Street, they're newer companies that don't have a proven path to profitability? If it wasn't for additional rounds of funding, they would go out of business. I want you to really think about that. You're the guy or the gal who's running a business like that, and you know that your business existence is the incumbent upon raising another round of money or it's all over. Be hard for me to sleep at night. That would be one of the craziest things. Back to Tyler Perry. Once again, we're entering into my wheelhouse and some of the stuff I want to do in the future. Making entertainment is wildly profitable. Tyler Perry did all his stuff himself. He organically funded Tyler Perry. He got all these millions of dollars from organic funding. Yeah, all his stuff is intellectual property. Have you ever been watching Cinemax or one of these old channels and you see these movies from the 60s? That movie is still making somebody money today, even though that movie was created in the 60s. That movie is still making people money. Gotcha. My friend was an Android app developer for a startup. When he failed to get another round of funding, he was out of a job. He found something else in 2 months. Uh, Everybody's looking for the quick hit. Bitcoin is, cross 9,000. All the people have come back out on Facebook from under the rocks they were under. They're like, y'all, the people who were laughing at Bitcoin, how come they? I'm like, I wrote, 9,000 ain't 20,000, bro. But everyone's looking for this quick hit. The quick hit, this massive sum of money with little regard to being happy. I had a friend who had a mansion. He, his wife, and three kids were in this mansion. Mansion was about 15,000 square feet, 5-car garage, heated pool, all of that. And he was very unhappy with this mansion. You know why? He's like, man, there's always someone around, because they had a staff of 8 people to help run this house. Because, my house is only 5,000 square feet. But if I'm down in the basement, no one can hear me. No one can hear me scream or whatever. And it was, when I first moved in here, it was a hike to the bathroom. I wasn't used to walking that much to get to the bathroom. So I can only imagine how much square footage 15,000 square feet is. He was talking about the kids would get lost in the house and they'd be looking for the kid. And he's like, it take me 30, 40 minutes to find my kids because they're in the part of the house. And he said the thing that he never really got adjusted to was there was always help around. There was always the butler. There was always the guard. There was always someone around. He never actually felt like they had no privacy. He was like, man, I'm in there boning my wife and the help hear us making love. He's like, I didn't like that. Christian Emerson, after your video yesterday, I finished my dream girl, predominant types, secondary type, third girl profile with the dream life profile. I had a shit ton of clarity as relates to my life plan. I used to be stationed at Fort McPherson. He got that on the cheap. Can we say Netflix? LVMCD, 100% correct. Tyler Perry found his own base and built his crowd person by person by person. His first play, no one showed up. Then he remember he's like the second, third play, he had like 10 people in the audience, 20 people and he built this person by person over decades. He organically built his business. And it's very hard to take apart something like that. Black Caesar. Hey, Coach G, your video earlier was very interesting. Millennials are wired to have fun and to be entertained first and make money last. That seems to be the direction that the culture is going in. I would I would agree. I mean, it is, you know, when I do these entertainment videos, they get more views than when I do educational video like this. Because to prevent you from starting a business and then hating your business, you've got to weave the business into the lifestyle that you want to have. Like, there's some things I just don't do. I don't do public speaking because I don't want to do public speaking. So there's consulting. I did consulting hard for about 18 months and I got out of it. Just didn't like doing it. And this is one of the things that's a common theme. If there's a part of my business I don't like doing it, I get rid of that business because I know ultimately if I keep that business, I'm going to resent going to work. I'm going to hate going to work. I remember when I had a job, I had to be at work at 5 o'clock in the morning. I remember hitting that alarm over and over again because I didn't want to get up because I didn't want to go to that job. I've never felt like that in my business. I don't want to feel like that in my business because this is a job that I created. So, part of setting this up is asking yourself some very important questions. Run your life like a business. LVMC. He said in interviews he's been writing plays for 10 plus years and it's creating millions for him. Now, exactly. Yeah, the Boondocks ripped Tyler. It was a crazy episode. I believe Tyler Perry is doing what makes him happy. I think he likes wearing that dress, and it works for him. Runs. I wonder if it's the case of the 5% that you talk about. Regardless of the generation, there are born hustlers in every generation. This is true. There is a portion of us shocked into the transformation. I would agree with that. The rest tend to operate like sheeple. Black Caesar, coach, getting laid seems to be a constant frustration for a lot of men, old and young. Sadly, but if you're putting out consistent content around a topic, not only you're going to gain subscribers. Um, let's talk about that briefly. Most people don't have systems in their life. A system for getting money, a system for being happy, a system for getting women. When you develop a system, you don't have these frustrations. And the average guy wants the benefits of exceptional men without doing the work. I've seen this, the frustration. Like there was um, there was some I was watching earlier about Rihanna and how she's monkey branching from millionaires. Rihanna's worth $600 million. She ain't gonna date no average dude. And if it wasn't for a biological imperative, the average dude wouldn't date just any chick because she's hot. And we're kind of moved away from that. A lot of men are just like, I don't care if you hot, you po. You're not on my level. We ain't getting down. And so that's disappearing. I know Aaron McDonald, he was ruthless. Angela Life goes, I love my business because it gives me time for my kids. She works with me 3 days a week. Awesome. And we talk the whole time. I'm living in Asia once she takes over the world. Anthony Johnson's hustling. Black Caesar, but you're going to get paid. Maybe you want to restructure your courses around disruptive male. Well, that's coming. There's going to be a dating course. There's going to be a verbal how to speak because this is the thing. Most guys act like Otis and Anley around women. Like you need to sit down and write out what you want to be in your life. Like I'm telling you, I'm seeing these kids. They're not old enough to have years of experience. They're like, I want a Ferrari next year. And they'll open up a Shopify store. They'll spend hours studying how to run Facebook ads. Then a year later, they're doing the video. Hey guys, I just took delivery of my new Ferrari. See, one of the things that happens with younger people that isn't happening with the older generation is they network like ninjas. Oh, engineering life skills systems are everything. Systems remove stress. Systems create money. Runs. That's a progress. That's a process. Kept having to shift. It took making six figures in three different businesses, industries to refine the business that suits me. When you don't know what you want, you have to experiment. And this is one of the things. This is that work that many people just don't want to do because my lifestyle would be boring to many people. I like having the time to decide what I'm going to work on per day. I don't like having an agenda set for me. LVZ, that's my pops who knows the guy who knows the guy. The teenagers, they network, they share information, and once the thing about information online, it's like ice cream. It's melting. What worked for Facebook ads 5 years ago does not work for Facebook ads today. They completely changed it. Brian Henry. So I've followed a lot of these 15-year-old life coaching gurus. I feel they won't last long term, in my opinion. No hate to them, but it's just BS sometimes. Some of them, Christian, from your video earlier, deep pain is what motivates people to move mountains. Without pain, people are comfortable in misery. This coincides with a life plan. Yeah, because once again, you have your business plan, and this is how you should write your business plan. There should be a written plan and there should be an active plan. Whatever your business, you should put it into play. You should be out there hustling, trying to and then you should write what you want to happen and work on both of them because most business plans are like Moby Dick, a great work of fiction. You're operating on some assumptions that, hey, I feel that the marketplace is going to do X, Y, and Z. But until you test that thesis, you don't know. So you need to write it and you need to test. You need to write test, and revise. Revise because there are many people who seem to be like, if I can't get it done in that first hit, it ain't worth doing. I don't know where this mindset or attitude comes from, but you need to push your business, actually do it and test your thesis. I'll give you an example. LV, there isn't a billionaire I want to sit down because see, most people who became billionaires did not become billionaires because, quote, of their hustle. Bill Gates became a billionaire. Steve Jobs became a billionaire because they were in the right place at the right time with the right technology. Like right now, Dell Computers, they had to change their core business from making computers to getting into iCloud computing and business services. So I don't really put a lot of stock in billionaires or millionaires. I would rather talk to someone who was started off dirt poor and became a millionaire because that path is much easier than becoming a billionaire. Once again, you need a lot of luck on your side. You need the hard work. You need to be in your business. You need to be working hard, doing all that. But you're going to need a lot of luck to become a billionaire. There's a reason there's only 2,600 of them in the world of 7.5 billion. There is a reason. I believe so. Bill Gates, once again, Bill Gates was affiliated. Steve Jobs was affiliated. Jeff Bezos was affiliated. His grandfather was on the board of the Atomic Energy Commission. But one of the things about getting information and who you get your information from. There's practical information and there's theory. Many people will look at these venture capital firms like, Amazon, Uber, and they're a big company making billions, and they'll go, that's for me. But look at Uber's origin story. It started off, as a side project. They weren't really that serious about it. That's why Gary Vee didn't invest in the first round. He invested in later rounds. So here's how write your business plan. You do the best you can writing and projecting. Then you go out and you test your thesis. You must be testing your thesis on a daily basis. I will give you an example. When I created Disruptive Mail, I felt there was a need for that product in the YouTube space. And it took off. I got like 4,000 subscribers the first 2 months. It was rolling. But but my problem was I was too real for YouTube because the channel got limited because of the thumbnails of the stories. I'm putting out here all the stuff that I was doing. It was just too real for Disneyland. That's YouTube. And that's what, and then I ran into some other stuff. I ran into a lot of male haters, which wasn't in the business plan. I did not expect to run into that. But once again, by creating that channel, putting the videos up, testing my thesis, this is how I got the information. Because there is still a huge marketplace of men who want instruction, who will pay for it. It's just you got to get away from the MGTOW red pill stuff because those channels are setting the pace. They have the most views, they have a lot of engagement because there's a lot of angry, bitter, upset men out there who are just because they can't get no trim or they can't get the trim that they want. And there's a difference between having sex with a girl you can have sex with and having sex with the girl you want. There's a lot of men who are all caught up in their feelings, and there aren't a lot of people who are talking about pathways. Like there's this one thing in the manosphere, the Dom game. Once again, they've appropriated some culture because the BDSM community has its own culture, its own brand, and they've appropriated that and they blacked it up, the Dom game. I mean, most of those dudes honestly don't have the heart to be a really dominant in a BDSM capacity male. Couldn't do it. Their programming, their social programming will not allow it. The ad continues saying more and more generation millennials want to put their money to companies that mesh with their social and political concerns. Oh yeah, that's real. That's very real. Ganji, weird thing about red pill MGTOW is a bunch of males getting upset, pissed off, and not developing their social skills. I'm working on my social skills, not worried about getting trimmed. See, part of the problem is you have the upset and jealous leading the upset and jealous because there's this one guy. He had a video talking about this girl in the gym that he clearly was attracted to, and he acted like he didn't want her because she got around this guy with some money. She started acting a little differently. And here's the news flash, gentlemen: women like men with money. That ain't gonna ever change. You're not gonna have women who are tens going to the trailer park to break off Bubba some trim. It ain't happening. This chick has too many social signals. Well, there's a lot of losers in those communities who don't want to work on personal development. Like, I have completely refabricated my personality through personal development, the power of your subconscious mind. Earl Nightingale's Lead the Field. I have worked on me consistently, and I've gotten some outrageous results. The credit solutionist, what's going on? Charlotta, everybody has a preference. Why get upset if a female don't want to give it up? Find another. Well, see, this is one of the things. We also have a group of people who feel that they're entitled on both sides. Yet women not all like guys who are in shape who are doing something progressive. I mean, results turn women on. Ganja, that's pretty much. Yeah, I mean, red pill is about chick hating because here's the thing. You will see people who will put up videos that are anti personal development. They don't want to work on personal development. They don't want to work on making themselves a better version of who they are. Like, going back to the story of Tyrone, one of my mentors, the first time that I got a white girl that white dudes wanted, and she was really into me. Because this was what Tyrone had. He had a little chick who was beyond nice. I had that mentorship that it was possible. And I remember one time we went out, and there was some white dudes who were unhappy that I was getting one of their best. See, no one cares if you date a fat white girl. No one cares about that. They make fun of that. But when you date an attractive, slim to medium sized white girl, woo, they wanna get rowdy. So through this personal development, I got here. I got to this place. I learned how to do certain things. But through my personal development, because after I wrote my first book, my life plan changed because I was a storage auction dude. I was going to do storage auctions forever. I love the business. I love reading the stuff that most people throw away. Like, I would read the love letters. I would go through their personal effects. I love that stuff. Then I got sick. Then my partner developed cancer. Then I wrote that book, and that put me on another life path. And one of the things that after I healed up from getting sick was I want to be happy. I want to be happy. I'm not going to do, because one of my personal rules is I don't do stuff that makes me unhappy. It's just, if I'm unhappy, I'm not doing it. Charlotte, I personally prefer, if you're going to get a white one, get the absolutely best one you can find. This is something that I discovered upon that journey, that's still a thing. Robert F. Smith gave, money to Morehouse people, and people talking about his wife because she's white. He ain't black enough. It is one of the things that personal development can do for you, because after I wrote the book, it opened new doors. And one of the things about me is I've always taken action. And this is one of the things: you've got to become an action based person. You got to write your business plan, then you go out and you test your thesis. Then 3 months later, you take all this new information that you got, because the marketplace is really, really fickle. You have these assumptions in your head, but the marketplace is like, we don't like that. Like, once again, This live stream is probably going to get maybe 1,000, 1,200, 13 views. But if I go ahead and put up one of my sexual stories, that's going to get two, three, four, five, 6,000 views. And part of it's YouTube because, I'm like, YouTube's just putting stuff out. Ganja. I showed my friend at his house that Spellman video yesterday. He subscribed to your channel. BT, I've seen it in the eyes. Having one of their best to them is like suicide. I mean, one of the things that happens is when you become an action-based person, when you start doing stuff, when you take risk, when you test the thesis of your hypothesis, you're going like, okay, I feel that I can make these cookies. And you make the cookies and you go out and you try to sell them. And you don't try to sell them to just your friends. You go out there and you work. You write up a list like I'm gonna try to sell these cookies 10 different ways. You go to companies like, hey, I make cookies. Y'all want to order some cookies for the break room? I mean, there are companies where the owner has done stuff like that. There are companies that sell donuts and cookies just to companies' break room. They don't open up and sell to no one else, and they make plenty of money doing that. Ty Love, only the broke criticize the decisions of the wealthy. A lot of hating goes on. But once again, you need to ask yourself these questions. Where do I want to live? I meet people all the time who have these passions and hobbies that they never do because they've developed a lifestyle or maybe they got stuck where they just can't do this stuff. The wealthy don't have time to BS and criticize. BT the creator. I mean, seriously, I died when you brought up the. I mean, you're not going to have drop dead gorgeous women going to the trailer park, breaking off Earl some trim. Women are the way that women are. And one of the things that most successful men with women have come to understand, that's just the way they are. I've been around the world. Women around the world are like this, like the new thing to go to the Dominican Republic, to go to South America. Hypergamy still working. You're an American. To them, you're rich because you use the bathroom inside. You're rich. So that's hypergamy still working, because it's like, yeah, they're nice, they're very feminine, because they're looking at you as a paycheck. They're looking at you as a come up. They're looking at you as a possible green card because you come from the great wealthy United States where everybody is wealthy. There's countries where people who feel that way, they feel that everybody here is wealthy. And it's just not like that. Engineer life skills. It's called work avoidance. Funny how everyone who tells me don't work so hard or work life balance is poor. When you're on your grind and you building stuff, there ain't no work life balance. That's a fantasy. Charlotte Thompson, sex will never go out of the trend. Men can be sick with double pneumonia, Foley catheter in place, draining blood, 10 urine, oxygen in the nose, and we trying to look down the nurse's shirt. I gotta say you're right. BT the grid. I'm not gonna say it's natural for dudes to hate when you have the baddest in the presence, but you can feel and see it in any race. Ganja, I've come to fully accept that women are like that biologically to filter out weak sperm. Most women get mad when you say it, but deep down there, that's true. Ty Love, I think the universe I have the indoor plumbing. Engineer life hacks. I've had moms on the street in Asia trying to get me to take their daughters. Seeing when I go to Africa, the best trend would be checking me out. Chris Monroe, we're rich and arrogant to much of the world. Absolutely. You can feel it. You never seen a bad bitch walk in a room full of ugly chicks or the same dudes. All the low luster people be quieter than a rat pissing on cotton in Georgia. That is crazy. Christian, that is very true. Because the story of Lucy, I was shocked at how well that did. And, it's very interesting because this is another thing that I have done that cost me money. I haven't jumped to the hot, trendy stuff. And I know that cost me money because, I just don't talk about certain topics because they don't interest me. I have the largesse to get away with that. But from a business standpoint, I have defined certain things in my business that will keep me happy. Because once again, personal development, fellas, ladies, you work on yourself. What you can achieve, what can come from you will be amazing. When I wrote that first book, I remember when I had finished that book, and this was before I made my first sale. I was so thrilled that I started this book and I got it back. I got a galley, what was called a galley. And I spun around in my chair like a little kid because it was done. I had taken on this monumental goal and I had achieved it through personal development. One of the reasons that I have so many stories is I've led an active life. Many things that people would shy away from, jump in head first. Engineer, I always get massive hated rate from other men. And see, this is funny. It depends upon the level of success those men had with women. I saw this guy in Waffle House. He was chubby and his girl was banging. And immediately I said, good for you, my dude. I was congratulating him. Wasn't hating. Because I've had women just as fine or finer. That's where the problem goes in. Esrev, go to the bank with a check with a comment in it, and the teller will be extra nice and attentive. They assume you must know something they don't and gonna and doing something they can't. Ron, sometimes we got to give a spoonful of sugar to help the medicine go down. See, and education requires action, but entertainment is easy. That's why ratchet stuff will always be popular. It's true you reap what you sow. Universe, I spent 2 years not kicking it, working in my room, studying finance. I have to figure this out. And there's sometimes that you need to go into the cave and work very, very hard, distraction free, no dating, no hanging with friends, just work, 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 work. And that's where you're going to be as you're developing your business plan and your life plan because many people have not had the exposure to know exactly what they want. They're just trying to figure it out day by day. But for you to know exactly what you want, you got to have some experience, because before I figured this out, I had traveled around the world. And I recommend anyone, if you can travel, do so. It's just going to awaken your perspective. You're going to look at things so differently. I had went around the world by the time I was 21. It shaped me. Because the thing is, you find out that we live a very different lifestyle in these United States of America. No one else has the credit system that we have. I mean, maybe the UK has some of it, but where you have a credit score of 550 and go dealership and get a car for $500 down, only in America can you do that. In Africa, I think they got to come in with cash and pay for it. Resale is the best starter, because you come across so many different people. You come across a cross section of America. You come across a huge group of folks, because let me tell you, like, at one point in my business, I did not mess with female customers. Then after one Saturday where like 15 hotties came in, I was like, this is ridiculous. I see more stuff walking through the warehouse door than I find online. I start messing around. I remember the first chick, she bought a rooms to go glass top dining room table. True, we're very different. We're there's no other place in the world like this, man. Frankie Guns. Runs. I hate to say it, but I'm grateful that so many are focused on entertainment. Really, only the top 20% compete. Even amongst those, it's really like the top 5% that compete fiercely. You ain't going back to Africa. Well, let's change that. You're not going to Africa because you didn't come from Africa. United States of America is your home. This is where you were born. This is where your folks were born. Like I've told someone, I'm not leaving. I have no interest in moving back to Africa. I would be starting over. I would be giving up a lot. But personal development, well, let's get back on point. How to write your life plan and business plan. You should write out a loose template of the life you want to live, and should ask yourself some questions. Like, once again, if you want to get married, that's cool. I'm not one of those people that hate on marriage, because there's some people, you say marriage, they like go off on the deep end, like, oh no, you shouldn't do this. Let me tell you something. Rich people are getting married. Rich people are getting married. Rich people are getting married. Facts. Engineer life skills. I started to figure out that we're not competing against other internet creators. It's simply the best product wins. Chris Monroe, I want 3 wives. Hey, if you set yourself up like that and you get on that life plan, I can tell you, because they've kind of broached onto it, the sexual shadow world, the sexual underworld on the man some man channel. I can tell you, if you want to have 3 wives in these United States of America, you could do it. You could do it. On Facebook Watch, I was watching this chick with 2 husbands. I mean, there's some people who want the comfort and sanctity of a relationship. Everybody ain't out here. I'm MGTOW for life, throwing up these gang signs. I'm red pill for life. Ain't gonna never get married to player for life. Blah blah blah. First of all, That takes a lot of energy. Any man who's experienced with getting women knows how much time and it takes. And this is one of the reasons that you see a lot of businessmen and wealthy men who are married. They don't have time to investigate in that because a lot of them haven't created a system. One of the reasons that I was able to do so much, I had created a system. Do this, pull this leather, pull this level, and bam, a chicken pop out. Pretty much runs as long as your money is straight, you can float them. Ignorant, zero motivated, low expectation people having to keep society rich. Sorry, that's true. Frankie Guns, how do I find my life purpose at 41? Ask yourself, what do you want to do? Charlotte, yeah, if you haven't heard, those African guys take care of all those wives, houses, maids. Anthony Johnson, Pookie and anyone can form an LLC and plan a hustle. Nowhere else is it possible to make your own bread and shelter it. Nowhere else. Nope. It's like you're working a second or third job when you have more than one girlfriend. Charlotte Thompson, I'm 40. I'll be 41 this year. Focus is everything. A teardrop on the. Once again, I watch a lot of the internet. I take it all in, and I want you to think about it. You as a man, you're an average man. You don't have no money, you don't have no assets, but you're devouring big toe and red pill content. Why? You have no gold to be dug from a gold digger. Why are you so focused on this? Because see, I have a problem where when you become so internal that you don't understand what's going on in the rest of the world. Because most of the men who are red pill, most of the men who are MGTOW don't have any wealth to lose. They just don't. And it's like I think it's a fan club where people self-congratulate each other like a MGTOW for life. I ain't gonna get the wife. They all hoes over there. I just see a lot of limited mindsets with red pill and MGTOW. And I put up on my other channel. Let me see. Let me get in here. I'm gonna show y'all. Well, all right. So we're gonna come in here. No, I'm not gonna do that. What? Let's see how to. Good lord. Hold on a minute. Let me find this. I'm trying to get into something, and I'm not trying to end this stream. Hold on a second. Good Lord. Let's see. 2, 4. Ah, okay. So let me see. All right, so let me go on here. This is the man's channel, the influence frame, how to become an effective man. And I'm not in here as much as I would like to be. But let me get into behind the scenes. All right. This is why I say the things. And this is me testing a hypothesis. This is me testing, what I think is going to work. So you see, this channel only has like 800 and some subscribers. A lot of people got on this Robert Smith thing, the Dom game. So giving up porn, fake success to become a better man. Oh, this is the stuff I got going on over here. And I'm gonna start working on it a little bit more. This just went crazy. YouTube is kind of crazy. My take on Aisha Curry, the nature of today's woman. So there'll be more going down over here. Mutual Admiration Society, a giant Jergens bottle. Y'all crazy. Yeah, they don't want to see. They don't want to understand it. BT the Career. I met this 25-year-old feminist. Got his first piece of Poontang recently. He don't talk about hating women now. Not ever since. Christian Emerson. How long should your life plan be planned out? Until you old. So let me see. Let me go ahead and put this link out here. All right. So here's the links to the men's channel. We're getting ready to do some more stuff there. But with your life plan, you should ask yourself, what do I want to do the next 50, 60 years? Because typically people who have made these decisions are usually society's most interesting people. And for a lot of folks, millennials, they don't want to make that kind of commitment. Well, I don't want to commit to the next 50 years. I want to keep my options open. And if you look at the world's wealth chain, these were folks who didn't keep their options open. See, keeping your options open means that you never commit. You never commit. You never focus. You never get ready for that big thing because I'm thinking about starting the channel over, starting with all new content. And, I was supposed to start this week, but we will be getting into some stuff. Marriage is a beautiful thing. Once you write your life and business plan and you're working towards it, you find that a woman understands you and helps you toward it. Well, I'll think about it, Christian Emerson. One of the things that you have to understand about how to write your life plan and your business plan, when you take the time to write these down, I mean, actually, you need to write it on paper, use ink and paper. You will activate a certain level of energy in your life. You will pull things towards you. This is one of the big problems that I have with so many people who are not action based people who, like, you know, red pill, MGTOW. I don't even watch it because to me, it's just a lot of whining about something you can't change. You're not going to change female nature. You can whine about it. You can have your boy group bands. Y'all can sing about it. Y'all can commiserate about it. It ain't going to change. It ain't going to change because one of the big things is the economy is going to go bad and all these women are going to submit to subpar men. It ain't going to happen. Once again, my first book is supposed to be a relationship book, and I interviewed over 200 women. What's going to happen if you look at these sexual surveys of women and men who've had partners, you will see there's a discrepancy between the partner things because you've got women who messing with Tyrone. You got 5, 6 women messing with Tyrone. While you got Dry Dick Janny over there with his giant bottle of Jergens. The women have higher counts than the men. They should be proportionate. Should tell you something. Sexual underworld. Well, I don't believe in the struggle, love. I will say this. Once you write down your life plan, a good example of this, how many of you have seen these van life, people living in vans? One of the things I'm finding very fascinating is watching these sailing videos of people who buy these boats and literally sail around the world. None of these dudes have a problem finding a chick to come live in a van with them. I'm like, hey, let's live in the van. Okay. Well, let's buy a boat and sail around the world. Okay. Not a one of these dudes have a problem because they're interesting. And this is the thing that I think many MGTOW and red pill men don't see because when I'm talking to someone, I can tell if they have a life plan and a business plan. Your energy will be different. You will pull in the metaphysical. I do believe in the metaphysical. You write it down, you will activate your subconscious mind. and your subconscious mind will activate the subconscious mind of other people. Let me say this again. Once you activate your subconscious mind will activate the subconscious mind of people you don't even know. It's a powerful thing. And this is why you've got to make some decisions. One of the things a lot of people don't want to do is make decisions. They want to keep all of their options open and never commit to anything. This is a bad way of living your life. Oh man, runs, I'm telling you. And this is one of the reasons for writing it down. Runs, the world makes a way for those who know where they're going. Absolutely. Absolutely. If you have direction and goals, you become so powerful. And this is why you should write your life plan and your business plan. Like, give me an example. Let's say your life plan is you want to live on the beach. You want to go swimming every day. You want to have that kind of lifestyle. Then, one of your business plan is like, we're going to make skis. Skis are usually made in countries that have, states that have snow. So you making skis runs counter to your life plan. So we're like, we're not going to do that because that doesn't jive with our life plan. And then this is keeps you from being unhappy. But so many people don't have a life plan, don't have a business plan. They just out here winging it. LVMCD. This reminds me of the guy who couldn't get a gig in Hollywood, and his girl followed him to live in Alaska with the bears. That's the 100. I see this all of the time. I see this all of the time. There's some dude who's like, hey, let's live in a van. Let's go RVing around the country. Let's buy a boat and sail the Pacific. Okay. They have no problem finding chicks. Yet you have thousands of men in these forums who can't find one chick. They just can't because they personally have mentally formatted themselves to run chicks off. MGTOW, red pill for life, shooting the gang signs. I mean, typically you get what you put out. So a lot of red pill men and a lot of MGTOW men hate women, and it becomes palatable. Frankie Guns, I'm winging life. I mean, seriously, man, it could be just as simple as you taking a week to sit down, write your goals down, write up a business plan, and get busy. See, it's not going to happen immediately. There's a transformational process. The success begins when you write it down, but it's going to take weeks or months for it to go. The dude from Sailing La Vagabond's YouTube channel has a badass wife. Most of them do. There's Sailing Zatarda that I started watching. This guy had a wife and 4 kids, and like, hey, let's buy a boat and go around the world. It's just a matter of you sitting down, taking the time to think, what makes you happy? What makes you happy? And then align yourself with a woman, a purpose that continues your happiness chain. Because essentially, if you follow my advice while creating a life plan as well as your business plan, You're not going to create a business that you hate. You're not going to create a business that you need to take all these vacations from because you hate it. Maybe you want to have a life plan where you take 5 vacations a year. International. Okay, write that down. Then create like, all right, well, how much is this going to cost? Actually do the research. Then like, okay, what kind of business is going to give me the kind of money I need to do this? It's a simple process of deduction and just keep going. Like when I wrote my first book and the money started coming in, this is when I sat down and I wrote up my life plan. I'm like, I like this. I like this a lot. We're gonna keep this going. So I'm gonna become an intellectual property dude, and I'm gonna create things that I do that can get me money over and over again. And that's what I've done. And that's the lifestyle that I live. Like this house. I got this house because it fits into the business. I didn't get this house because I just want this big old house. I got this studio. You saw the Blue Room studio. And then I was in the dining room with that other studio. And I got the basement studios. I'm turning this into a YouTube. This is a media company house. We're making content up in here, man. In different rooms, because each room is a different studio. That fits into the life plan and the business plan. So one of the things that you should do is really think deeply how you want to live. Because this is the thing, and no one ever tells you this. You have the choice to pick whatever you want. You want to live in London? Write it down. You want to live in the Ukraine? Write it down. Whatever you want, you could have if you make the decision and the commitment to get it. As long as you're not lackadaisical, long as you are not wishy-washy, it's going to take a firm commitment. It's going to take firm resolve to get these things. I see these kids activating the law of attraction, the law of action every day. They don't even know what they're doing, but they activating because they getting busy. You got to be busy. You got to be moving. You can't be static. Static, nothing happens in Staticville. So that's how you do it. Because when you have this life plan, and I've talked to people who like, I don't know. I was like, figure it out. And it's like they don't want to, it's also personal development because the number one person in the world that you should love is you. And you should love yourself enough to treat yourself properly. There's some people who can't do anything for themselves. They just can't. They can't do nothing for themselves because they're so selfless that they will um, always be putting out for other people. Self love is the greatest love of all. And I'm seeing a lot of personal hate, a lot of self hate because people don't treat themselves correctly because they don't love themselves. Once you love yourself, you're just going to start treating yourself differently. It's going to be a whole different process. It's going to be a different way of how you get down with yourself, how you love yourself, how you treat yourself, how you take care of yourself. Because happiness is a choice. You want to be happy? Choose to be happy. It's a choice. And this is what writing down your life plan. And you should ask it, you should go long. It's like, okay, what do I want to do for the next 90 years? You should ask yourself that. Because something else that I have seen in this neighborhood, I see a lot of active elderly. 80. There's this woman I was walking the other day. She got to be 90. She walking with her stick. These people stay active. This one lady, I didn't realize how old she was till she got real close to me and I could see it. She was just moving, moving and grooving. Woman had to be, I would estimate she's 80 something. Frankie Guns, I love myself. Just certain things don't like about me, like I'm a huge procrastinator. Change it. You can make that change. Make it different. Candace P, the law of attraction is so real. I get what I want, period. There's never a doubt in my mind. Never. The law of attraction, the law of action. These things are real. See, you got these YouTube channels that talk about the law of attraction where they just sit down and like, I want this. And they don't get into the mechanics of doing it to make it real. Because, once again, everybody is born with a set of gifts. There's some people who can think, I want this, and bam, it happens. Charlotte, that's funny. But once again, how to write your life plan and write your business plan. You should do both around the same time. And because the thing is, realize that you're 20 something. I want you to think, imagine yourself at 30. And one of the things that a lot of people do is hate on old people like one day they ain't gonna be old. It is the funniest thing to me. Like, okay, why are you hating on old people? If you live long enough, you will be old. And this is why I have the utmost respect for elderly people. They've been through a lot. They know a lot. They have, they can be a great resource to you. Because one of the things, and this is something else too, houses in this price point all have home gyms, every last one of them. And that's something that I've noted. Be active, be about your business. Christian question. So living on the beach on the island is something that I desire and love to do. I should desire. Yeah, absolutely. You should. This is where it gets a little scary. You say you like living on the beach. I want you to sell everything. I want you to go get an apartment in Oahu and figure that out. That's the kind of stuff that you're going to have to do if you want to make your dream life become your real life. I lived off Barbers Point in Hawaii. I was on the beach whenever I was on the island. It was pretty snazzy. Ron, some of them do. Yeah, because essentially, I'm not going to get into it on this channel, but the metaphysical is very much real. And, for some religious folks, they get a little weird about that because you're talking about witchcraft. When I wrote my first book, I had a set of written goals. I've achieved every one of those goals. I set this motion. this plan into motion. You can do it too. All right, that's all I got for you guys. Peace and hair grease. For anyone that's interested on some of these things, there are some courses below this stream. And there's a few courses that will help you script your days, that will help you with how to write a life plan and a business plan. It will help you tremendously. Frankie Guns, how about making boatloads of money is my only goal and mentality? Is it bad? Ask yourself why you want to make boatloads of money. There's a reason for that. All right. I will check you guys out later. And remember, for those who are new to the channel and this is your first time seeing the video, I'm Glendon Cameron. I'm your hustling godfather. And below is a pathway to the courses that you should take in the order that you should take them. With that, I'll see you later.